That puffiness you see in the mirror some mornings is not water. It is not just tiredness. It is something in your body that was built to keep moving but has quietly slowed down. And here on Ebony Graceful Wardrobe, we believe grace does not begin with the outfit. It begins with what is underneath it: your skin, your hairline, your hands, the quiet habits that help you look elegant, healthy, and confident after 50. If this is your kind of content, take a second to subscribe now. Every week, we share timeless beauty, graceful style, and simple wellness habits designed especially for women over 50, so you never miss a video that could make a real difference. I watched my mother work a small amber bottle of castor oil into her hairline and her neck every Sunday night for years, and today her neck still refuses to tell her age. Today I'm showing you the 4 places on your body where this one oil truly earns its keep. Number 3 is the one almost every woman gets wrong because she skips the one thing that actually makes it work. Before we go any further, tell me in the comments which of these did your own mother already know long before it had a name. I read every single comment and I love hearing the wisdom passed down from one generation to the next. 1. The hairline. We start where most women start and where most women get the least back for the effort. Your hairline, your edges. Picture yourself parting your hair the way you always do and noticing the line has crept back further than it did a year ago. The temples feel thinner under your fingers. You tilt your head to the light and you see more scalp than you remember. You are not imagining it, and you are not vain for minding it. That hairline has framed your face your whole life. Watching it quietly retreat is its own small grief nobody warns you about. Here is the mistake that keeps it from turning around. Most women pour the oil into their palms and smooth it down the length of already grown hair. It looks like care. It feels like doing something, but the hair shaft is not alive. It cannot drink. It cannot heal. The only living part is underneath, at the scalp, where the follicle actually sits, and that is the part getting skipped. So here is how my mother taught me and how I still do it at my own counter. Warm a small amount of oil between your fingers first until it loses that thick chill. Part your hair into real sections the way you would to braid it so you can see the skin. Go straight to the scalp, the hairline, the crown, the edges where hair has always been finest, not the length, the roots. Press your fingertips flat and move the skin itself in small, slow circles. Stay a few minutes on each section. That massage is not a nice extra you skip on tired nights. That massage is the entire mechanism. Your follicles are fed by tiny blood vessels just under the scalp, and a follicle with poor circulation is a seed sitting in dry ground, still alive, but slowly going dormant. Pressing and moving that skin pulls fresh blood up to roots that have gone quiet from years of being left alone. The oil holds moisture against the scalp. The massage wakes the roots. One without the other is half a job, and half a job for 3 months is exactly why so many good women quietly give the bottle away. Now, here's a harder truth almost nobody says out loud. My mother said it to me flat across the kitchen table one afternoon while folding towels. Your hair is the very last place your body feeds. If your plate has been thin on the quiet things hair is built from, your body spends them on your heart, your brain, your organs first. Only whatever is left over reaches your edges. So the oil on the outside protects what you have. It cannot pour in what your body was never handed in the first place. Feed yourself as well as you feed your scalp, from the inside and the outside both. Do this at night, cover your hair with a cap, wash it out well in the morning, and give it a whole season, not one weekend, before you decide anything. 2. The neck and jawline. This next place surprised me most as a girl because it is not on your head at all. Come down to the hollow of your neck along the line of your jaw. Run 2 fingers from behind your ear slowly down the side of your neck toward your collarbone. Feel how soft that channel is compared to everywhere else. That is where much of your morning puffiness actually pools overnight. There is a quiet drainage network running through your neck and jaw, the part of you that carries off everything your body is finished with. And here is the strange part almost nobody tells you. Unlike your blood, it has no pump behind it. Your heart pushes blood every second, whether you move or not. This system has nothing driving it. It only moves when something on the outside moves it. And most days, that something has to be your own 2 hands. That is why puffiness shows up worse on your slow mornings and your stressed weeks. So, a few nights a week, once the oil is warm on your fingertips, work it gently down that channel on both sides of your neck, always in slow strokes moving downward toward the collarbone, the direction the fluid is already trying to travel. Never pressing hard, never dragging the skin. This is thin, tender skin, and it does not forgive rough handling. Light, slow, patient, the way you'd smooth a worry off a child's forehead. 10 strokes down one side, 10 down the other, and you are done. What you are really doing is giving that settled fluid a door to leave through, and many women notice the very next morning that the face looks less swollen, that the jawline reads a little cleaner along the edge. That is not the oil erasing anything. That is your own body finally getting the nudge it had been waiting for years. My mother saved this one for the very end of the night, right as she turned down the bed. She used to say, "The pillow does the rest while you sleep." I laughed at that as a girl. I do not laugh at it now, standing at my own mirror. Quick reminder before we move to the one almost everyone gets wrong. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe now so you don't lose this channel. Ebony Graceful Wardrobe posts these every week, and you will not want to miss the next one.
3. The one everyone gets wrong. Here is the one I promised you. It does the most work of all 4 by a long way, and it is the only one that will sit there and do absolutely nothing unless you add the one thing most people leave out entirely. Skip it, and you are just resting an oily cloth against your skin, waiting on a result that will never arrive. Add it, and the whole thing comes alive. That place is the soft spot on your right side just below your ribs. Picture 2 women doing the exact same thing on the exact same night. Both soak a cloth in the oil and lay it flat under the ribs the way they saw online. The first lies down, waits half an hour, gets up, feels nothing, and decides the whole idea was a myth. The second does one small thing differently. She lays something warm on top of that cloth before she settles in and leaves the warmth there the whole time. Her body answers. Same oil, same spot, same minutes. The only difference was heat. Here's why that one difference decides everything. Castor oil is thick, far heavier and stickier than any oil you're used to. Left cold, it mostly sits on the surface and stalls there. Warmth is what softens it and opens the way in, so it travels past that top layer instead of resting uselessly on it. Heat over that part of your body also draws more circulation into the area at the same time, so there is more movement waiting to carry it along. Cold cloth, and the oil stops at the door and knocks with no one answering. Warm cloth, and it walks all the way in. That was the whole secret my mother never had a proper word for. She just knew it in her hands. You always warmed it first, every time. So here is exactly how to do it. Take a piece of natural cotton or flannel, an old one because the oil will stain it for good. Soak it through with oil until it's full but not dripping. Lay it flat on your right side under your ribs and cover it with an old towel so nothing transfers to your sheets. Rest something warm on top of the towel and leave the whole thing be for 30 to 45 minutes. Do it in the evening before bed when your body is already settling into its overnight repair work anyway. 3 or 4 nights a week is plenty. And skip the plastic wrap so many people online reach for. The whole point is keeping your skin away from that kind of thing, not pressing more of it in. A folded towel holds it perfectly well. I know what you're thinking because I thought it too. This sounds like a lot of fuss for a Tuesday night, and I won't pretend it's nothing. But the first week is the hardest. By the second, it stops being a chore and becomes the 10 quiet minutes of the day that belong only to you. My mother never called it self-care. She called it her wind down, and she guarded it fiercely.
4. The hands. Now bring it all the way down to your hands, your knuckles, any joint that has been quietly aching on you. Have you ever noticed the backs of your hands tell on you before your face ever does? We spend years watching our faces and almost never look down. I noticed it on my own hands earlier than I expected. One ordinary evening at the sink, drying dishes, catching the light across my knuckles, the tendons showing a little more than they used to. It stopped me, dish towels still in my hand, and the very next thought that came was my mother at her counter with that amber bottle. I understood, for the first time, she had not been fussing all those years. She had been keeping something. This last place is the simplest of all 4. No cloth, no setup, no timer. Take the oils straight to wherever your body has been complaining loudest lately. For stiff knuckles or an aching joint by the end of a long day, rub a small amount in with your thumb, right over the sore spot. If you can, lay something warm over it for 20 minutes while you sit with your feet up. That same warmth trick from the ribs works here too, drawing circulation to the ache. Castor oil has a long, quiet reputation for easing that kind of settled soreness, the sort that flares on cold mornings. Many women notice the ache softens after a little while. For the thinner skin over the backs of your hands, work a few drops in at night, slow and unhurried, into the knuckles and down over the tendons. Over weeks, not days, some women find the skin looks softer and sits a touch fuller, and you will feel that before you ever see it, in how the skin moves when you close your hand.
Here is the thing that saves the whole plan. You do not need to do all 4 every single night. That would exhaust anyone inside a week, and exhausted is exactly how good habits quietly die on a bathroom shelf. So here is the rule I keep for myself. I call it the amber bottle round. 1 bottle, 4 stops. The big one, under the right ribs with the warm plate, gets 3 or 4 nights a week, because that stop is doing the real heavy lifting. On the nights in between, you do the light ones instead, the hairline and the neck, the quick 2 minutes at the sink that keep everything gently moving. And the hands, you never even schedule. You simply fold them in whenever you're already sitting at the counter with the bottle open, the way my mother always did without thinking about it. That is the entire round. 1 small bottle, the same short path down your body, top to bottom, a few nights a week, for as long as it stays easy. The moment it becomes a burden is the moment you stop doing it. So keep it light. The night this truly landed for me, I was standing at my own counter, warming a few drops between my fingers, and I heard my mother's voice come up out of years of Sunday nights saying the same 3 words she always said: keep things moving. I looked up at myself in that mirror, and for once, I was not hunting for anything to fix. I saw a woman who had finally been handed something her mother already knew by heart, and her mother before her, passed down hand to hand, long before anyone thought to bottle it and sell it back to us. That is what I want you to carry out of here tonight. Not a rescue, not a cure, a handoff from their hands into yours. So let me leave you with the same question from the top of this video. Which of these 4 did your own mother or grandmother already know right there in her hands, long before anyone wrote a study to prove it? Tell me in the comments. I read every one. And if this is the kind of thing that speaks to you, this is Ebony Graceful Wardrobe. Subscribe so you're here for the next one, because next time I am opening the kitchen cabinet from those very same Sunday nights, the plain, everyday jars women reached for long before this oil was ever in the house.